Alrighty, welcome back to the second episode of Blue Hawk Game Day. We are excited to be here at the Blue Hawk tailgate. As you can see, everyone is having a good time behind us. Got some people in front of us. I'm Seth Morkerke, a Hawk Talk co-host, been a Blue Hawk for the past 5 years. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Susanna Moberg. I'm also a Hawk Talk. I almost said Blue Hawk Game Day host, but obviously that's why I'm here. But Hawk Talk host. Super excited to be here for the second episode of Blue Hawk Game Day.
And I'm Coulter Hickok. I am the new co-host of Hawk Talk and also a fellow co-host on Hawk Talk Game Day Edition. And I'm the football manager and the equipment manager for the Blue Hawks.
Yeah, and you might be noticed that we have one of our hosts missing. Ellie is down playing volleyball. They're at Dakota State today. Obviously, they're going to get a win. It's at Dakota State. But what I want to introduce, we got a special sponsor. If you can look behind us, you can see Bernarski's is back there. But we got Scott Karski here. He's going to be our sponsor. Go ahead and say a little something. Introduce yourself and what you love about the Blue Hawks.
Awesome, Seth. Thank you very much. Bernarski's is absolutely ecstatic to be here. Me and my partner, Dave Bren with Bernarski's, we are so much looking forward to it. We've been doing this tailgate for 7, 8, I don't know how many years we've been here. We've been here every year. We serve hundreds of Caesars every game day. We give them away, or spicy red beers. We have a great time here.
The best Caesars. These are the best
World
Caesars
champions. World champions of Caesar making.
I must also say the best Caesars.
Thanks, guys.
As you can see, the Blue Hawks are walking behind us. We have game day started. We are going to take a little break, and actually, we'll stay on. We'll stay on. You can see the Blue Hawks are right behind us. Let's go, Coach. We're excited. The Blue Hawks are playing Waldorf today. As you can see, the Blue Hawks are walking behind us. We'll let them go for a little bit. Yep, we got the Blue Hawks. They are ranked number 16 in the nation. Didn't get a drop there or a raise in the polls. I thought we maybe would, but the Blue Hawks look like they're ready to play. A little windy, but we got Hayden Gibson there, our quarterback.
Seth, we can see, we talked last week about those game day faces, and if you see you walk them in, you've got those headphones on. You got those game day faces. They are ready to go today. They are excited.
Yeah, these
be
guys
playing
are
at the Hank in this hawk weather today. They are pumped. Look at this.
Kayla really explained hawk weather really well last week, and as you can see out here, it is hawk weather. Nice and cold and cloudy.
Seth, we just saw Kevin Brown walk out. We know last week he had some great stats in last week's game against Wisconsin lacrosse.
Yep, Tiger Fry coming right up, expecting a big game out of him. He's been Hayden Gibson's favorite target over the year, and I don't expect anything less.
Yeah, Reese Howards here at the end. I know, he's got some. He's been coming up, doing a pretty good job these last few games.
We do have to say thank you to his parents. They provided the weights that are holding our awning down, and so if we blow away, it's the Howards' fault because their weights weren't strong enough, but I don't think we will. Anyway, Scott, I got a question for you. You're an alumni. You're a Blue Hawk. How has the tailgates changed since you were here, in your opinion?
Wow, actually, back in the day, I remember our tailgates. We were over at the park over here, and they were relatively small. I remember a group of us. We actually brought a pig one day, a real live pig, and we painted him blue. And we thought, the Blue Hogs. The pig got off the leash, and it was a whole pandemonium that day, so it didn't end up quite like we had it planned.
And over the years, the weather has seemed to stay the same for the Blue Hawks. It's either really hot or extremely cold. So today, similar situation in the weather as last week. Do you expect the Blue Hawks to change their game plan at all? It is a different team, but whether, it could be raining, could be cloudy, wind is always a factor. What do you think? We'll let these guys chime in as well.
Well, I think that the Blue Hawks, they thrive in any weather. We call this hawk weather right now. Hawk weather is where the Blue Hawks thrive in situations just like this.
I think we talk about this every week, but I agree with what Coulter said. Hawk weather, they thrive, they do the best, and, we'll say it this week, we'll say it next week, probably the week after. Hawk weather, Hawks are up here.
Absolutely. A good, hard-nosed football team. Coach Stanton has them up and ready for every game. These guys will be ready to play today.
And Coach Stanton, he did walk by, came and gave us a quick hello. He is excited about the show. We were watching it earlier with him this week, and he was chuckling. So we're excited. Good luck to Coach Stanton today, I guess. We are live on Blue Hawk Game Day on our Facebook, and we're just excited to be here. Scott, any last words before we let you go and have a couple more?
No last words. We're going to go have a couple more. Come by us. Join us at the Bernarski's booth and all these other great booths. We're looking forward to a big Hawk win today. Let's go, Hawks.
Thanks for coming on, Scott. And we'll be back right after this with a couple of our guests. Don't know if they can top last week's edition, but, we're going to give it a try. So we'll be right back.
Come your Blue Hawks. Steps into the throw, in the wind, down to the goal line, and caught! Touchdown, Blue Hawks!
All right, we're back with Blue Hawk Game Day. Second week at this. We're so excited to be here, and we got the audio plugged in for the tailgate, so we're excited. We are live, guys, so remember that. You two, I'm speaking to both of you guys. We are live, so watch out. We got a couple guests back on the show, a couple good friends of mine. Don't know if they'll be able to top last week's edition with Kaler, but they're going to give it a go. We got Dalton Reed here, Blake Schwegler. Blake was a student and then a coach here for a while. Dalton was a legendary wide receiver. I do have to tell a story about Dalton. Every time I'd throw a pass, whether it was a touchdown or a completion to anyone else, he'd come up to me and say, "You missed me on that one." And I don't know if that's just something you got in you, but maybe explain that to us.
Well, they used to call me 7-Eleven because I was open all the time. You know what I mean? So that's just one of those things. Every time you didn't throw it to me, you missed me.
Yeah, I
and
missed you. Okay.
It might have been a great pass because you were a great quarterback, but
Appreciate that.
I got to be honest, I was open. You missed me.
You probably were open, yeah. And maybe I made the wrong read, maybe I didn't, but
Probably.
we'll let that one lie in the dust, okay? Coulter, he's going to go do a little recap for us, then he's got to take off. He's got to go do some coaching. So go ahead and recap last week and that game against Wisconsin lacrosse.
So Wisconsin lacrosse, they had to make the 17-hour drive over from La Crosse, Wisconsin. Had to come over and face the Hawks. It was weather like this, so things got a little rough on the start, but they scored first. Actually, no, we scored first. Correction. Halftime score, it was 14-10, lacrosse. Come into the locker room, everybody's just like, you know what, we got this. We're going to win the game. Just like last year, halftime score 14-10, as we were told by Coach McGuire. So, halftime score 14-10. Come back out. Hawks take over on the third quarter. It's a great day. Dylan Reiner had the interception. I think the interception, that changed the game right there. Momentum changed.
It really
right
did.
there.
It almost sealed the game, in my opinion. I saw that. It was right down near the goal line. It seemed like they were going to probably score a touchdown. And Dylan, he swept in there, got that pick, thought he might take it back for a touchdown. Unfortunately, he didn't. But he really showed out there.
But then right at the 2-minute drill, get into the 2-minute drill. Lacrosse gets the ball. 2 plays left. Lacrosse, last play of the game. They have the, intentional grounding. That's what it was. So, Hawks win. 10-second runoff. Hawks win the day.
Hawks win. That's what we say. Good guys win. When the Blue Hawks win, it's the good guys. Thank you, Coulter, for recapping. He's got to take off. Blake's going to take his place, and we're going to get to talking about some Blue Hawks here.
Thank you guys very much.
Good luck out there.
Hey,
Alrighty, guys. Man, we're excited to have you guys here. I was FaceTiming Blake earlier, and he begged me to come on the show.
What?
Not really. I asked him to come on. We got Dalt. These guys are a couple characters, and we're excited to have them here. What I want to ask you guys, how was life like when you guys were back here? When was that? A couple years ago that you guys were here? Explain what it was like to be a Blue Hawk here.
Yeah, I left, what is it, 2 years ago now, and I loved life at DSU. I actually lived with this guy, and then I lived with this guy.
Yep.
Worst roommate ever, by the way.
No.
Yeah, I can agree. I'll agree with that.
I only lived with Dalton for a summer, but I don't know. I love Dickinson. I love the community. Just everything about the town, the football team, the school. I just like being a part of anything that I could get my hands into, and it's a great opportunity in Dickinson. So.
Being a Blue Hawk is a great opportunity. It's not so much just being a Blue Hawk. It's the friends you make. It's the roommates you have. It's the coaches you have. It's the lifelong connections. It's more of a community and a lifelong thing rather than just a temporary thing. So being a Blue Hawk, honestly, one of the greatest blessings of my life. I love the atmosphere here. I love the community here. There's nowhere else I'd rather be right now, so thanks for having us on.
Amen to that, yeah. Eastern Montana guys. Blake's from Forsyth. Dalton's from Miles City.
Greatest state in the Union.
Second greatest state in the Union. We'll call that third greatest. We'll say third greatest. Wyoming's first, North Dakota's second. and Montana is
You know,
third.
who's got the best roads?
Wyoming.
We have an
Wyoming
80-mile-an-hour
sure.
speed limit.
So
in
does
Montana.
Wyoming. But that's beside the point. We're not going to argue
I don't
about
pay attention
this.
to them.
Anyways, guys, you know, you're both. You had two. I mean, you guys had different opportunities. Both of you guys at DSU. Blake, you were a player and then a coach. Dalton, you were a player and then a coach. We'll say. Dalton, you were a player, had a big role on the team. So talk about what it was like to be on the Blue Hawk football team. And you went through actually a transition when Coach Bijou was here, and then Pete Stanton stepped up and took that role. So maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so starting out, I was recruited by Coach Stanton here. He was not the head coach at the time. Hank Bijou was the coach, and he was a great guy. Honestly, a great character, a great coach, great person. You know, they kind of struggled there when we got here. It was kind of a tough time for the Blue Hawks. You know, they didn't really, excel in the football. They were struggling big time, and that was kind of sad to see. I mean, they were still getting good recruits, and coming in, I had a good relationship with Pete Stanton, with my head coach being Dan Stanton in Miles City, and it's just kind of it was great to see the transition and come in and be a part of it. There's a lot of guys here now that were part of that and kind of led that charge even before us. So being a part of that transition, to see us kind of go from the bottom to the top, it's a great transition. One, it's fun to see in yourself, and it's fun to see in your teammates and your coaches, and not even that, but the community. I mean, the whole atmosphere changes, and it's been a great blessing. So,
what about you, Blake? Talk about the experience here as a coach, maybe.
As a coach, yeah, I enjoyed it. I started, obviously, you guys know, and I only played a semester, I believe, and then I decided I was done with football. I was just out of it for too long, and then I decided to go into Coach Stanton, Coach Schillinger, and tell them that I was done playing football, and then they said that they wanted me to stay on staff, and I was like, all right, cool, yeah, I want to do it. I love football. I love the game. I love the mindset behind it, so I just stayed. I really learned a lot from all the coaching staff, Coach Miller, Coach Schillinger, Coach Walker, Coach Stanton, just everybody on at the time, and it was a different feeling because, I mean, obviously I was teaching my brother too, and I was coaching my brother, I was coaching my friends. So it was a different feeling, but I mean, I enjoyed it. They respected like the situation a lot, and it was a fun time. I mean, I didn't ever really get to like out of the dominant role or out of the student mentality. It was sort of, they're still my friends, they respect it, and they'll work hard.
He was possibly the worst throwing quarterback coach there was ever.
And he was a quarterback.
I know.
Quarterback in
Yeah.
high school.
Don't run drills with this guy because he is the worst thrower of all time. We've gotten a few feuds over it, and
I believe it too.
It strained our
I feel like-
friendship, but it's
I feel
brought
like
us closer together.
Someone can
Closer
fend
together.
for me right now.
No,
No,
you can't.
nobody
Sorry,
can
Blake.
fend for you, Blake. You were
Anyways,
horrible
guys,
for me.
we talk about the weather here, and it's explained as Blue Hawk weather. It's Hawk weather. We get out here, gray skies. That's almost what we prefer. Not me, but people really prefer these gray skies for some reason. Talk about what the Hawk weather. We got Lane Millay in the crowd.
But
Haven't
Seth,
seen him in a couple of years.
It's not so much the heat, but the humidity that's really killing out here right now.
Yeah, I agree. Dalton, what do you got to say?
Hey, man, you hear it all the time, hawk weather, hawk weather. Personally, I disagree. When it's cold, it's kind of crappy out. You know what I mean? But
I'm glad somebody will admit it finally, because I admit it all
the
the
wind.
time.
I don't like the wind. I don't really like the rain. I was a receiver, so I was kind of a baby. I like it nice, 75,
Yeah,
no wind.
Drama
So,
queen receiver.
Drama queen, I'll accept it. But, it is what it is. It's football. It's fall season. Nowhere else you'd rather be. You love it.
Yeah, you sound like Antonio Brown, Dalton.
All right, we're not going there. We're not going there.
Thank you, Presley.
Anyways, you guys have been a part of. I think you guys were a part of 3 championships. Am I correct on that, or was it 2?
We had 2 championships.
2 championships. Okay, the boys. We've got 4 in a row now. Yeah, I mean, being a part of that, it's an experience, and it's a legacy. It's a culture, if I can say it like that. It's a culture. It doesn't just happen. So talk about what it is like to be in a championship experience like the Blue Hawks have.
I mean, it's tradition, right, around here that you're going to win games and hopefully, win that championship. And I know we went through some struggles there, but it was always
Move your mic up.
It was always the next game, Seth. If we lost a game, we won a game. It wasn't worrying about the next game. I think that's a big mentality part of it. Just next play orientated. Like you got to forget about the last one. If you threw a pick, bad play, good play. You always got to forget about it. And this thing is about to fall down. But I'm just kidding. So I think that's what it takes to be a champion.
kind of to reiterate what Blake said, is just the tradition. You know, you make that your backbone, like hard-nosed Blue Hawk football tradition. The people before you. It's not about you. It's the people before you. And then, like he said, the next play. So to be a part of the tradition is kind of what it takes to win a conference championship. You know, you all have to buy in. It's about buying in, being teammates, being friends, and supporting one another. But, yeah, backbone of it, tradition and hard work.
And if I can say this, I don't know if anyone represented that better than you did. Just an all-around guy, great Blue Hawk football player and leader on the team.
Thank you.
Thanks, Seth.
Yeah, man, Blake,
very nice of you.
You're all right, too,
It's getting
Blake.
kind of
You did
deep
all
up
right.
here. Can we take a commercial break? I got to wipe some tears off my eyes.
Suzanne, I want to ask you, the North Star Athletic Association, they did it to us again. I don't quite know if our guys really performed well enough last week to get an award, but I still tweeted at him. I was still pretty upset. What do you think about the North Star? You know everybody knows what I think about them. What do you think?
Yeah, well, clearly everyone knows what you think about it because you don't stop talking about them and how
There's
much
a reason
you
to talk about it.
Yeah. But I think, Seth, that they really just don't consider the work that our boys put in every week. You know, we're up against some hard teams. We were up against Rocky first game of the year, and we fought pretty hard that game. And I don't think that they really consider how much work our boys put in off the field, and on the field. I think, you look at Dylan Reiner last week, and that interception really, I think, turned the game around. And I think he deserves a little more
credit.
Yeah, a little more credit for the work he did. So I just don't think that they're really looking at our boys and all the work that they're putting in.
Maybe they need somebody over there helping them out, making some picks. Blake,
like
what do you think? Yeah, I would do it.
What?
The North Star, what do you think about him? Blake has no opinion. Dalton, what do you think about him?
No, I always see Seth posted on Twitter about it, and I just wish you would get to the bottom of who is behind this account.
We'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
They are based in Madison, obviously, so they are a little bit biased towards Dakota State, the DSU, the lesser DSU.
The lesser DSU.
They've got a decent team this year, but it's not, not as good as us, obviously. So, no, but they are a little biased. They do tend to hate on the Blue Hawks a little bit, but that's all right. That doesn't matter.
Right?
That doesn't matter to the Blue Hawks or Coach Stanton or anybody in here. So it's about the guys, the 11 or 22 guys on the field out there. So.
And we'll go win another conference championship. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Now, these guys, they're quite the characters, and off camera, they do like to, maybe on camera too. I'm going to try. They like to quote movies quite a bit. I don't know if I've heard anyone quote more movies than Dalton Reed has in his entire life. So I want to ask him, what is the greatest sports movie in your guys' opinion, and can you give us a quote from it? Blake, you want to start us off?
Oh man, greatest sports movie. There's a lot of good sports movies.
Football movie, whatever you want to do.
Football movie.
Either or.
Waterboy, easy. I should just get Lane Malay on here to come give me a quote.
Lane, can we get you on?
Ischioto.
All right, Blake. Blake doesn't feel like giving us a quote, I guess. So, Dalton, you go ahead.
Yeah, Dalton, I want to
All
hear
right, I'll
yours.
start by saying my favorite sports movie and greatest sports movie of all time is, what? You guys guessed it, Rudy! But one of my favorite quotes is from a movie called Miracle. It says, tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we hit with them. And we shut them down because we can. That's Miracle.
Miracle. Well said, dog. Well said. I don't know if Herb Brooks said it better than that.
No, in fact, I probably should have been the coach of the 80s American team.
Probably should have been. Well, now, guys, we're going to do something that I know everybody has been waiting for. Got quite the crowd growing over here. We're going to make some picks. Susanna's going to lead us through, and we're going to I do apologize. I did not come with the records of last week. Susanna, I do believe, maybe is winning.
I think
so. Two of us.
I think so. It's
So
because
for
my
some reason
technique
I
of
picked-
choosing teams by their
For some
name.
reason, I picked Mayville to win a game last week, but
I,
maybe
like
I'll
it.
get
mistake.
I appreciated your support for them. I
Yeah,
mean, they
you know,
need it.
sometimes. Susanna, go ahead.
All right, Seth. Let's start here with Idaho versus Rocky happening. Idaho versus Rocky. Blake?
We got College of Idaho, number 10.
Rocky's on the struggle bus right now.
Yeah.
And I know Nathan Dick just got hurt. So this is easy, College of Idaho, by 50.
By 50. Okay, yeah, well, I guess we will do scores. That might be it. I don't know if that's even too bold. I think that it is at,
I believe it's at Rocky.
I think it's at Rocky. So that, they got to travel.
I don't think it matters.
Okay. We'll see that game, I guess. Dalton, what do you think?
Again, like Blake said, Rocky has been they've been struggling these past couple games, couple injuries. It is at home. I think they're trying to look to bounce back, but I think College of Idaho's been playing really well. I'm going to take College of Idaho 28-7.
The thing is, too, They didn't graduate like any seniors last year.
And
College of Idaho.
And they really turned that program around. They started 0-5 and finished 5-5 and won the conference, I believe. And so I'm gonna jump on that wagon as well and say College of Idaho, number 10 in the nation, and I think that's a respectful 10 in the nation. They could probably move up in the rankings a little bit with this win. 35. If the weather's, I heard it's snowing in Montana, so you never know. The weather's, it might be a 14-7, 14-10 game, but I'm gonna say College of Idaho up there in the 30s, though.
You think by 30?
Yeah, by 30.
All right.
Susanna, go ahead.
All right, my pick is also College of Idaho. I'll say it, said it once, said it 100 times. I'd rather be a Hawk than a Rocky Bear. Idaho it is for me. Let's see, Eastern Oregon versus Montana Western. We got another Montana team. What's your pick?
This one's an interesting one. I think Eastern Oregon was ranked in the top 25 to start the year, but there's just that. Kaylor said last week that secret weapon over there in Big Mac Dak.
Big Mac attack. Yep.
So, I mean, he was a Blue Hawk. So.
Yep. Instrumental.
I'll take Montana Western, but it's a low-scoring game.
Okay.
Western's been playing good. They went into Rocky last week and dominated them.
Yep.
So, Eastern Oregon's got to travel all that way. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team. I'm going to have Western in a close one at home.
Okay. I will agree with that. Western in a close one at home because of the weather, on my opinion. Honestly, I think there's 4 feet of snow coming to Montana today. So that's that right there, close one. Maybe a low-scoring game, too, depending on the ground game. Western is a very talented team, and like you said, Big Mac Thack over there. The block schedule helps them out.
They're focused on schooling.
Jumping
like
on the bandwagon, Montana.
Okay.
I'd call Montana.
I want to introduce this game here. The NAIA Game of the Week, number 12. Who is it? Evangel at number 7 Grandview. They're both haven't lost a game, undefeated this year, 4-0 I believe. And so this week one of them falls, and I don't know quite honestly which one it's going to be. I want to take Grandview because they are the home team, but Evangel, strong contender, have made the playoffs the past couple of years. So what do you guys think?
Honestly, I don't know.
Thanks, Blake. Wow. Good
Very
pick there.
insightful.
That's a really good pick.
Way to bring him on the show.
I'm going to take the winner in that one.
Okay. I'm going to make my pick and say I'm never bringing Blake back on the show.
I'm going to go with Grandview. They are the home team. I was doing a little bit of research. They are a good team. Evangel's obviously very good. Yeah, I actually come prepared to these things. But no, I think they're going to win at home. I don't know a ton about them.
Yeah.
I think Grandview wins by 7.
Okay. Yep. That's a good pick, Susanna.
You know what? I'm going to go for the underdogs here.
Okay.
I think we're going Evangel, and I think that they might come ahead this game.
Okay.
I think it's going to be close, though.
Close. Yeah.
I really believe
Seth
close
had to
game.
bring us on here. He was trying to boost his ratings after Kaylor's performance, so that's why we're here now.
That's why you guys are.
Shout out to Kaylor.
I don't know if we can boost the. We'll see. I want to introduce this next one too. Sorry, Susanna, I'm stealing your thunder, but the reason I'm picking these we got 2 Montana boys here. I believe a U of M and a Montana State fan, but sometimes they cheer for the other. Quite honestly, I don't know. But we're going to start with number 17, Montana. Quite honestly, I don't know if Montana deserves that 17, but up there, I believe there's 4 teams in the Big Sky who are in the top 25. Very impressive. That conference is very tough, but they're playing at UC Davis, the team that lost to North Dakota State just barely last weekend. What do you think, Blake? They are your team, I know.
Yeah. UC Davis played NDSU really good last week, but I mean, I'm not going to take the Grizz. I am going to take the Grizzlies. I think it'll be a close game, but I mean, I think Montana's defense right now is really playing well. Okay.
I think Montana's playing well. You got 2 old boys in blue up there. You got Jason Schillinger, 2 of the best to ever do it. So I'm happy to see them
Meyer,
And Tucker Meyer is up there. So I hope they have some success, and they have been doing well. I'm excited to watch them.
Yeah.
I think UC Davis is a tough team. They did play North Dakota State tough, but I think Bobby Houck is up there. He's kind of got that turning around. He's got that old Montana mentality, and I think Montana's going to go into UC Davis and beat them.
Go get a win. Alrighty, I am going to say it's going to be a close game. I think the Grizz will play a very they'll play very tough against UC Davis. And either way, if they win or lose, I don't think it's going to hurt them, a conference game.
I don't think so.
And I don't think they'll drop in the rankings, but I am going to pick the Grizz to lose that one. UC Davis is a powerful team.
Wait, Seth. I have just one question for you. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
So Northern Arizona at number 11, Montana State.
It was Conrad, Montana. That's where he's from.
I'm a Wyoming kid.
You're
I'm a Wyoming.
How many
kid.
years did you
Montana
live
at
in
heart,
Wyoming?
though.
How many years did you live in Wyoming?
No, I'm a Wyoming kid. I'll say it here on air, Wyoming kid. All right.
He's got the 406.
Northern
That's
Arizona
307.
at number 11, Montana State. Dalton, I know you're a big Cat fan. You got some connections there.
Yep.
So what's your pick on that one?
I think Montana State's been playing really good. I think they're getting into a groove with a quarterback. They've kind of been going between three quarterbacks, so it's hard to get in a groove. I think they're going to play NAU tough. I think NAU will come in and play tough, but it is going to be snowy and cold.
Yep.
So I think the Cats are going to win by about 2 to 3 touchdowns in this game, probably 28-7, 28-14. But they have gotten some offense going, and B.J. Robertson, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good coach, and I think they're going to handle it at home.
Yep. Okay, Blake.
Yeah, I agree with Dalton. I'll take Montana State, even though I don't like them very much. Dalton took me to a few games, and they're not good at all.
They're not good.
I mean,
Callie's giving you the death
Where's
glare
Callie?
right now.
Shout out to Callie.
Where's Callie? I mean,
What is Callie got 2,000?
I think
what is
Callie, yeah, she scored 2,000 points in her career. I think.
Dalton's wife, 2,000 points at Montana State. What a record there. That's
She was a three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife. She thinks she can beat me in one-on-one. She cannot. But if we played horse, I'd get smoked.
Okay.
But she's
both
not guarding me in the post. I can guarantee you that much right now.
Well, I'm gonna pick the Cats as well. And even though I picked the Grizz on that last game, I do believe in the Cat Grizz game, the Grizz are gonna win that one. Maybe that's a bold prediction, but I think the Grizz are gonna come around. Like you said, Bobby Houck turning that around. I had a conversation with Jace Schillinger this past summer, and he said, man, they're looking forward to that game. So
here's the thing: is they're both turning it around. They're both playing good, and the thing is, you want them both to be successful when they meet up.
Exactly.
You have these teams cheering against them. Oh, I hope they lose every game. Well, I disagree. Why wouldn't you want another Montana team playing well, doing well, and then when you meet them, try and beat them, and it looks all the better for you, and it looks better for the state. Yep. You know what I mean? You're representing.
Susanna?
Let's jump. I really have no prediction. I guess if I had to say, I'd agree with Dalton. The weather, Arizona's going to fall.
Yep.
I think
Granted,
Montana
NAU,
State
it is in Flagstaff. It is kind of high up altitude in the mountains a little bit, so they do get some weather. They might be used to it a little bit, but I think the Cats are going to.
But not a whole lot.
Yeah. Let's jump back into the North Star. Got a few games going on this weekend. Yep. We've got Dakota State, the lesser DSU. I think Dalton mentioned that earlier. We talked about that last week. Lesser DSU, Dakota State at Valley City this week. Who do you have there, Blake?
I think I'm going to go with Valley. I really do.
They're both 2-1, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're both 2-1.
Seth, is that right? 2-1?
Yep. Yes.
Seth
I think
didn't come
I'm going to
prepared
go with
either.
Valley. I'm going to go with Valley. I think they've got a little better wins on their resume, and
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Valley does have some better wins. I think they're both decent teams. They're 2-1. Dakota State's always been kind of became a rival to us. Later on in our career, they were kind of little smack talkers, but they got a good team going there. I think they're a good team, but I think Valley City is going to win at home, 21-17.
Yep. At home, I'm going to say 21-10 on that one. 21-7 actually. Valley City. I'm always impressed with those guys. They seem to start out a little slow on the year, but they
find a way.
They find a way. And as I said on the show last week, I would never pick Dakota State to win a football game ever in my life. So obviously, I'm picking Valley.
That's fair. I've got Valley City as well. I agree with you, Seth. The next game, last week, Seth, you did make a mistake, and I don't know if you admitted it on camera, but if you want to say it one more time, just to let everyone know that
Taylor and I
was
picked
correct.
Mayville to win a game. And I'm going to pick them to win this week, too.
No, you're not.
They're playing at Presentation.
Kaler, second, they're 2-win today.
Today. Yeah, I'm going to pick them to win today. At Presentation, I don't think Presentation.
I don't think that's a good idea, Seth.
Why do you say that?
I just don't. They're at Presentation. I can't believe. No.
Oh.
Presentation's taking it. I think by a landslide, too. I'm going to bold prediction it. Landslide win by Presentation today.
As much as I want to support Mayville, I hope they turn it around. I do agree with Suzanne that Presentation is going to take this game by at least 3 or 4 touchdowns. I don't think Mayville can go down there and win.
Seth, weren't you saying Mayville only had
They only had about 40 guys.
40 guys.
Presentation lost their quarterback last year.
I remember they used to do
about
yoga after games. They used to do yoga after games, and maybe that didn't help any.
Maybe that didn't help. Blake, what do you think?
Yoga's fine. Yoga's fine. All right. I'm going to take Presentation. I don't think the Comets got it in them this year yet. I don't know if they're playing Trinity Bible this year, but yeah.
Alrighty. Well, Blake says presentation, I think.
Yeah,
last
I took
one here.
Presentation.
Last game, obviously the game that we're all here.
PowerPoint.
The game that we're all here for, the Blue Hawks. And we finally got some love. We are the game of the week in the North Star. I was surprised just because of who they are.
They probably saw your last week's game day, and they were a little bit salty.
They're sick and tired of Seth yelling at
Waldorf
them every week.
Versus Dickinson State. I mean, this is the Blue Hawks' biggest game of the year, in my opinion. Went down there last year, lost to them by 1. And this team, Waldorf, it's always been said, if you let them hang around, they're going to come back and they'll beat you. And that's what we let them do last year. They hung around, played really well, actually. They are a good team. Quarterback is a graduate.
Very talented team.
Yeah, he's a grad senior. Stayed there, wanted to play one more year. Quarterback is very impressive. But our defense, like we said, Dylan Reiner, Kevin Brown, a couple of those guys, Derek Van den Bosch. We got a solid defense, and that's the thing I think that's been so constant for the Blue Hawks is our defense. Offense has been up and down every week, but defense is keeping it true. What do you guys think?
My vote is on DSU. We've got the Hank advantage. I think we're out there. We're on our home turf. We were at Waldorf the last time we lost, and I think today Hank advantage, hawk weather, great crowd, great tailgate crowd supporting us. I think DSU takes it today.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really hard to win in this place.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, obviously we just lost our first home game in whatever,
you hate
4 or 5
that
years.
Up. 5 years was our first home loss.
So I mean, I really think it is hard to win or to lose, for the Hawks here. I'm gonna take DSU. I think it's gonna be, it's the weather is a little bit rough right now, but I don't think that's really gonna affect. I don't think that's gonna affect the Blue Hawks too much. And I'm going to take DSU by 17.
By 17.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. I think, like you said, if you let Waldorf hang around, they will make something happen. They are a very talented group of individuals. One thing I do know about them, though, is if you shut them down early, they'll give up. They'll just quit. We've seen that through all the years. It is hard. They did lose last year at Waldorf, but it is hard to play at Waldorf, surprisingly.
Well, it's a long trip.
It's a long trip, and they actually have a fairly good crowd, and they get that home energy going. So I will say the Hawks are going to win this one, probably by 10. I'm going to say 10, but I think it'll be close at first, but the Hawks will kind of pull away at the end.
I agree with that. I do think our offense is going to show something today. They've been up and down, but I think today's the game that we maybe...
Hayden is due for some big games and some big plays, and I think he's going to make them today.
And that offensive line is going to protect him this week. That was kind of the struggle last week, offensive line, but... I think Ahmad Andrews, he's got 6 touchdowns on the year, leading the team in that regard, and I think he's going to probably have 2 more today. The ground game is going to be strong. We're going to air it out a little bit, even despite the win. But yeah, I'm taking Blue Hawks by 10.
Field position will be huge.
Field position.
Knowing Stanton, he's going to try and run the ball. Even though he's the defensive coordinator, he always tries to get his little, he tries to take away from the pass sometimes.
He clicks that thing in his ear and he says, "Hey,
Blake knows.
Hey, run the ball.
Run the ball.
Run the dang ball."
That's what we should have done. We should have done impressions.
We need Josh Borman, Dallas Hansen here for that one.
well, we're going to close out the show, guys. I know these
Lane
guys
Malay's itching for an impression over here.
We'll get him one after. I know these guys want to do something kind of special that College Game Day actually does. We were able to, weren't able to do it last week, but we're going to do it this week. They're going to rock, paper, scissors for it, and then we're going to close out the show.
Ready?
Yep. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, and what are you going to do, Dalt?
Well, you guys have seen Game Day, obviously, and you've seen some Lee Corso. You guys know what the game is. So we're going to pull out the old head today, and we're going to do it Lee Corso Game Day style.
There we go. Hawks win, baby! Hawks win! And the wave. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. We appreciate it. Always good to have some Blue Hawks back, former Blue Hawks back in the studio and back at the tailgate. We're gonna see a good win today, and we're happy to have you back.
Hey, thank you for having us on. We want to give a shout out to Brian Cronley, one of the greatest Blue Hawks ever, greatest accountants ever also.
Yep.
We call him the accountant from the movie. But, no, shout out to Brian. He's getting married today to a beautiful girl named Alex, so congrats to you guys.
Yep, congrats to you guys. Thank you all for watching the show this week. And thanks to Bernarski's for giving us that sponsorship. Scott, I think he's over there making some more drinks if you guys want a few.
Try their Caesars. They're pretty good.
Caesars are the best in the world. Best in the world. Thank you, guys. We'll be back next week. Roll Hawks.